Hello again, this is Bunton with a visual functional mathematics at level 1, section 1, numbers. Today's lesson is lesson 4 on fraction. You will learn that fractions are parts of a thing. How to write fractions, what mixed fractions are and convert them to improper fractions, be able to compare fractions and identify equivalent fractions, know that of means times, which is another word for multiply, and you'll be able to find a fraction of something by applying of. The keywords you need to focus on are parts, less than, mixed, equivalent, fraction, and of, which of course means times or multiply. You need to be able to use them fluently. Fractions show parts of things. If something is divided up into equal parts, you can show it as a fraction. There are 2 bits to every fraction. The bottom number shows how many parts there are in total, in this case 7, and the top number shows how many parts you're talking about, how many parts you use. Let's look at example of fraction problems. Gemma has 7 squares of chocolate. She eats 4 squares. What fraction did she eat? All you have to do is you put 4 over 7, 4 parts eaten out of the 7 parts the chocolate is divided into, and it shows that she had 4/7 of the chocolate, and it's written as 4/7. The TH is important. And this is how you write fractions. Half, 1/4, 3/4, 1/3, 1/5, and 1/10. Let's look at some practice questions. Set 1. Jean's cat has 5 kittens. Jean gives 3 of the kittens away. What fraction of the kittens did he give away? Claus is putting up 8 shelves. He has already put up 5. What fraction of the shelves are still left to put up? And this is how you work it out, your answers. Question 1, 3/5 was given away. Question 2, 3/8 still has to be put up. Mixed numbers. Mixed numbers are when you have a whole number part and a fraction part together. For example, 1 1/4 or 2 3/5. To convert a mixed number into a fraction, you first need to find the new top number. Multiply the whole number part by the bottom number of the fraction part. Add this to the top number of the fraction to get the new top number. The bottom number stays the same. It's important to know how to convert mixed fraction to fractions, because when you're multiplying fractions or you're dividing fractions, you will need those skills. And you'll observe that we started applying BIDMAS, which we learned in the previous lesson. Let's look at example 1, mixed numbers. What fraction is equal to 3/2/7? Find the new top number. Multiply the whole number part by the bottom number of the fraction. Then add this to the top. And this is how we do it. 3 times 7 equals 21. So the new top number is equal to 21 plus 2, or 23. The bottom number stays the same. So your answer 3 2/7 is equal to 23/7. To convert from a fraction to a mixed number, you need to divide the top number by the bottom number. You should do this without a calculator so you get a remainder. This is important. The whole number part of the mixed number will be the result of the division. The fraction part will have the remainder on the top. The bottom number stays the same. So the remainder is the fraction, and then the answer to the division is the whole number. Let's look at example 2 of mixed numbers. What is 13/5 written as a mixed number? Do the division. 13 divided by 5, which is equal to 2, remainder 3. Next, the whole number is 2, and the top part of the fraction is 3. So, 13/5 as a mixed number is 2 3/5. And here are some questions for you. Questions 1A, B, C, and D, which is to convert mixed fraction to fractions. And then you do the reverse. Question 2, you convert fractions to mixed fractions. By the way, when you have a fraction which the top number is heavier than the bottom number, it's called a top-heavy fraction. That's the common name we use. And these are your answers for questions set 2. Check your answer. If you get it right, that's fantastic. Don't forget to pat yourself on the back. If you got anyone wrong, that's okay. You learn from your mistakes. Find out where you went wrong and do your correction. We'll look at equivalent fractions now. Equivalent fractions are equal in size, but the numbers on the top and bottom are different. Look at the diagrams on the board. You will see from the shaded part of both that they're the same. 1/3 and 2/6. Why is it called 2/6? Because the second diagram is split into 6 equal parts, but the shaded area is the same as the first diagram. So the same amount of area is shaded in each shape, which shows that 1/3 and 2/6 are equivalent. To get from one fraction to an equivalent one, multiply or divide the top and the bottom of the fraction by the same number. Example, what fraction is equivalent to 3/4 or 3/4, but has 16 on the bottom? That's your clue. Compare 4 and 16 and see what number is common between them. For example, 4 can go into 16 and 16 can be divided by 4. So to get from 4 to 16, you multiply by 4. So to find the new top number, you need to multiply the top by 4 as well. And this is how you do it. 3 times 4 is equal to 12. So you multiply both top and bottom. 3 times 4 is 12, and 4 times 4 is 16. Let's compare some fractions now. Fractions are just numbers, so they can be put in order of size. Look at the bottom numbers. If they're the same, then you can just order them by looking at the top numbers. But if they're different, then you have to convert all of them so that all the bottom numbers are the same. Once you've done that, you can use the top numbers to order them. To compare mixed numbers, look at the whole number parts first. If the whole number parts are the same, then compare the fraction parts using the method demonstrated on the next slide. And here we are. Which is bigger, 1/3 or 2/5? The bottom numbers are different, so you need to find equivalent fractions. 3 times 5 is 15, so multiply the top and bottom of each fraction to get 15 on the bottom, and that is multiply them by 5. 1 times 5 is 5, 3 times 5 is 15. Now you can compare them because they have the same bottom numbers. So 6 is bigger than 5. 2/5 is bigger than 1/3. Comparing fractions with a calculator, this is dead easy because calculator is designed to work in decimals. So you don't have to worry about remainder. Let's look at these. 3/4 is just another way of writing 3 divided by 4. Remember we talk about OR, okay? You can type fractions into your calculator by dividing the top by the bottom. This turns them into decimals, which you can compare easy. Alright? Put the following fractions in order from smallest to largest. 3/5, half, 1/4. Rather than finding a common factor, just put it in your calculator and press enter. And hey, presto, you got your answers. 3 divided by 5 is equal to 3, so that is 0.6. 1 divided by 2 is equal to 0.5. 3 divided by 4 is equal to 0.7. You can easily compare them. The smallest there is 0.5, which is half. The next is 0.6, which is 3/5. And then the largest is 0.75, which is 3/4. Practice question set 3. You have 4 questions here which deals with what we've just learned. What number should go in the box so that dash 24th is equivalent to 5/8? What number should go into the box so that dash 3rd is equivalent to 16/12? Which fraction is larger, 3/8 or 10/24? And then question 4, you have A and B, mixed numbers and equivalent fractions. And that's your answer. Check them carefully. Again, if you got it wrong, that's okay. We learn from our mistakes. Just make sure you find out where you went wrong and you correct it. Sometimes you might need to calculate a fraction of something. In these cases, off means times or to multiply. Now you begin to apply your BIDMAS. To multiply a number by a fraction, you need to divide by the bottom number of the fraction and multiply by the top. You write it out. What is 1/4 of 40? You simply say 40 divided by 4 times 1, and that is equal to 10. Example 2. A committee with 32 members takes a vote. 3/4 of the committee members voted yes. So how many were they of the 32? You need to calculate 3/4 of 32. You divide 32 by 4 and you multiply by 3. And you'll get your answer as 24 members voted yes. And here is your practice question set 4. You've got 3 questions. The first 2, no calculators, because you're just finding fractions of whole numbers. And then the third one, you have to think a little more because it's more like an exam question. Kiran, a hotel receptionist, works 42 hours. Part of that is on the telephone, the other is to deal with complaints. The boss would want to deal with complaints because they want the least amount of complaints as possible for so many reasons. So how many hours a week does Kieran spend dealing with complaints? How many hours a week does he spend on phones? The boss needs those information. So hurry up. And that's your answer. Questions 1 and 2 are straightforward, you can get that. Question 3, you have to think carefully and get your answers right. So you got 14 hours and 10.5 hours. What is 0.5 hours? Yeah, 10 hours, 30 minutes. And there we go. What have we learned? Check what you've learned, make a list of them and compare it with mine. Okay? So, you have learned that a fraction is part of a thing. You've learned how to write fractions, the different parts of the fraction, the top and the bottom numbers, which I called numerator at the top, denominator at the bottom. You've learned what a mixed fraction is and how to convert a mixed fraction to improper fraction. You learned how to identify equivalent fractions. You can calculate them manually, and also you can calculate them with a calculator. You will be told in an exam what to do. You've learned how to compare fractions with and without a calculator again. And then you've learned that off means times or multiply. And you've learned how to find fractions of a whole number. And that is your lesson for today. Do the practice questions, find the answers, check your answers, make correction. That way you'll find out that before you know it, you're loving maths and you're a mathematician. Okay, that's our lesson for today. I'll see you next week.